Are you going to listen to the story,
Okay.
dude?
Yeah.
Carrie dug through her duffel bag. Had she remembered to pack a skirt? Yes, there it was at the very, very bottom, a little dirty and a little wrinkled, but there. Carrie ran out of the tent with her skirt on. Look, Mom, she twirled. Oh, I'm so glad you found it. Mom wiped a smudge off Carrie's cheek. Let's get you in the car. Carrie ran across the campsite and climbed into the car with her younger brother and sister. Her brother, Brian, had put on a tie, and Elena had put on her dress. They drove down the long, windy road out of the mountains. It's so nice to get back to the valley, Dad said. Carrie nodded. She stared at the houses and the big, important-looking buildings. A few months ago, Dad's job changed. Then, just a few weeks ago, Mom and Dad told her that they couldn't keep their house anymore. Carrie had packed her duffel bag, which Mom called her life bag, with her toothbrush, shoes, and some clothes. Whatever didn't fit, like toys, she had to leave behind. The only extra things she'd been able to bring was her violin. At first, it was fun at the campsite, but camping for weeks and weeks wasn't so fun. They didn't have extra money for gas, so they never got to go anywhere. But they were going to church. Carrie would finally be able to go to primary again. The further they drove, the more Carrie's stomach tied itself into a tight knot. She liked to look her best for church, but the campsite didn't have showers, and her fingernails and the creases in her hands were filled with dirt. She wouldn't wash or braid her hair either. They pulled up to the church. Brian and Elena climbed out quickly with Mom and Dad. Carrie followed slowly with her arms folded tight.
Why do you have to record every story?
When it was finally time for primary, Carrie kept her eyes on her sneakers. Some kids stared, but others were really nice. She talked with a few kids, but it was hard to try and make friends. She probably wouldn't see them again. When they got back to the campsite at the end of the day, Carrie's heart was heavy. She missed her old primary, and she missed staying in one place and seeing the same friends every week. Mom and Dad said they wouldn't be at the campsite too much longer, but Carrie didn't know where they'd live next. After a while, Carrie pulled out her violin. At first, she played a few notes here and there. She paced beneath all the trees and looked out on the meadow. Carrie took a big, deep breath and said a prayer in her heart. She told Heavenly Father how sad and how hurt she'd felt today. She wanted to have a house again so that they didn't have to stay at the campsite anymore. Finally, Carrie raised her violin. Slowly, she started to play her favorite primary song. She sang along in her head. I'm a star shining brightly, smiling for the whole world to see. Carrie looked up beneath the tall trees. Violin music filled the campground. This song reminded her that Heavenly Father had created a beautiful world. He made everything perfectly and with love, including her. Heavenly Father loved her for her. Carrie smiled as she played the last lines. I can do and say happy things each day, for I know Heavenly Father loves me.
But Daddy, what does including mean?
Include means part of it.
Don't they not have food?
Well, they had to go live in a tent because they heard the daddy lost his job and they didn't have enough money to have a house, so they had to go live in a tent, which she said was fun for a little while, but after a long time, it kind of got hard because there wasn't any.
But Daddy,
place to
where's
have
the
a shower.
food?
They're cooking something on the fire there, it looks like. So probably making something. But you're right. It's kind of hard when you.
They might be making like
But there are a few people that have
They might
to.
be doing laundry.
That don't have a house.
But what does this say?
Carrie grew up to be a violin teacher who helps people feel comfort and belonging through music. She and her children share music to raise money for community food pantries to help other people in need. You can read more about Carrie and her family in Gabriel's Cello. So it's a true story about this girl named Carrie, and she grew up to be a teacher to help other people.